है तो तीर्थंकर रॉय जैसे हिस्टोरियंस दे give it a different turn altogether. They neither question it completely nor deny it completely. They go into the micro regional studies and confuse everybody. So a student should not waste the pages and lines and ink on debating the quantum of deindustrialization that is not being asked.
Right.
Sad and inevitable. यहाँ पे the main keyword is inevitable.
As you have already pointed out, sir, कि main body में इसमें दो main parts रहेंगे. The first will be regarding the historiography. The second would be regarding the rational analysis of the scenario from the current perspective. Introduce हम कैसे कर सकते हैं, sir? So there are several options. One adequate way of doing it would be to contextualize it. Hello, students. I hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another session in our Behind the Question series. The question for today is, do you agree that the decline of traditional Indian artisan production was a fact, sad, but inevitable? Discuss. Now, in order to go behind the question, I'd like to first welcome Nikhil sir. And sir, can you please take us, as the series is named, Behind the Question?
You see, Vishal sir, thank you first of all. This question was asked in previous year question paper of paper 2, 2023 mains. This question is talking about the decline of traditional Indian artisanal production. Matlab, this is about primarily the debate of deindustrialization.
Yes.
Right? Now, जब हम पढ़ते हैं इस टॉपिक ऑफ deindustrialization, we discuss not only the causes and consequences, जो कि typical general studies वाला aspect हो गया. उसके आगे एक कदम जाना पड़ता है कि why it is so controversial a thing.
Right.
And if you look at the controversies surrounding the theme of deindustrialization, you can very easily put them on a time spectrum. तो वो controversy 3 बार हुई है in 3 different contexts. And in all these 3 different contexts, although the theme of deindustrialization remains the very same theme, अलग-अलग issues को लेके वो बात उठी है.
From different angles, the same issue has been investigated.
Correct.
And on other aspects, the debate has focused.
Yes. और यूपीएससी के सवाल तीनों से आते हैं, पर तीनों से अलग-अलग आते हैं. But the first thing we need to know when we read a question on deindustrialization is to understand from which phase this question belongs to. जैसे कि पहली फेज आती है प्री इंडिपेंडेंस एरा, मोटा-मोटी समझ लेते हैं. In the pre-independence era, the debate was not about whether there is deindustrialization or not. वो डिबेट था नहीं.
Everybody understood that deindustrialization took place, and it was only with regards to the intention of the British behind deindustrialization.
So मतलब क्या अच्छा है, जरूरी है, उसके बिना चल सकता था, ये डिबेट वहां पे. They don't question the fundamentals कि whether it is happening or not.
Yeah.
After independence, that question is raised. In 1960s and 70s, we have two very Americanized historians kind of. One is Morris T. Morris, and the second is the couple Alice and Daniel Thorner. वो फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन उठाते कि ऐसे कुछ हुआ ही नहीं था.
Okay.
वहां पे वो डिबेट होता है.
Right.
And in recent 20-30 years after LPG era, we have huge amount of new data opening up. Lots of new resources and tables and analysis methods and tools of econometrics वगैरह available है. तो तीर्थंकर रॉय जैसे historians, they give it a different turn altogether. They neither question it completely nor deny it completely. They go into the micro regional studies and confuse everybody. So my point is that the questions on deindustrialization can belong to either of these three baskets.
Either of them. So which particular phase does this question apply to?
This question I think belongs to the very first phase.
The very
that is the pre-independence era. तो इस यहाँ पे जो supporters and opponents जो है वो उसी जमाने के हमें उठाने पड़ेंगे.
The premise of the question is in fact that the decline of traditional Indian artisan production was a fact.
Yes.
It may have been sad and inevitable, but it was nevertheless a fact.
Correct.
It had to take place. It took place.
Correct.
Right.
And उसके फायदे नुकसान, अच्छा बुरा, उसके बारे में थोड़ा sentimentality, थोड़ा ethical angle, moral angle यहाँ पे लेके आना पड़ता है. Apart from economic का context. तो the moment we identify that this question belongs to the first phase of the debate on deindustrialization, then we don't need to question whether it happened or not. वो अलग questions पे होता है, यहाँ पे नहीं होगा. So a student should not waste the pages and lines and ink on debating the quantum of deindustrialization that is not being asked.
Right.
Sad and inevitable. यहाँ पे the main keyword is inevitable. Everybody accepts it is sad. British भी मानते हैं, हम भी मानते हैं. But was it
caused a lot of suffering, it caused a lot of misery for people. So both the British as well as the Indians Indian nationalist historians agree that it was a sad development in Indian history, but whether it could have been avoided or not, and what would be the after effects of this development? Question उस पे आके अटका।
Correct.
Right.
So it's about the inevitability. Was it a necessary thing? तो इसको समझने के लिए I think we should go into some kind of hypothetical imagery, scenario creation. Think of all major countries which started to industrialize in 19th century.
In the
Some
19th
European
century.
and some others.
Yeah, you can take the case of, let's say, America or even France or Germany example. Right.
We can take Britain itself, the colonizer.
Britain itself, British industrialization started a little bit earlier.
Yes. So all these countries experienced the decline of their traditional industry without destruction of traditional industrial
The
patterns.
traditional framework of creative destruction would apply.
Creative
here.
destruction is the best one. Schumpeter की जो phrase है, that is the best thing. That without that destruction, the new industries cannot arise.
Cannot be created. The old has to die for the new to replace it. Yeah.
And even in case of Japan, you see the same thing happening, even though it was not colonized.
Yeah.
तो बात यहाँ पे आती है कि it was inevitable. Yes, but इसको Indians ने उस समय मुखालिफत करी है. They have opposed this. They said it is not inevitable. It is a deliberate policy measure carried by British rulers to destroy Indian industry to benefit British industry. So and how was it done? Through taxation policy, through import-export measures, free trade, and other associated things.
One-way free trade.
Yes, one-way free trade.
Yep.
So imperial preferences in later era. तो ये सब चीजें हैं. तो this was a deliberate destruction of Indian industry to prefer to support the British industrialization, and that is the very meaning, the context of the idea of colonization. Do we have the opportunity to name a few prominent historians from either side in this case? The debate that took place back then, let us say in 1880s, 1870s, it is not between historians as such, it is between the public intellectuals. So from the Indian side, you would have personalities such as Dadabhai Naoroji, R.C. Dutt, N.M. Joshi, in fact, would be involved, right? And on the British side, other British policy Indian side पे एक और मैं नाम ऐड करना चाहूँगा, वो है रानडे का. Yeah. Justice Ranade he kind of did not agree with Dadabhai Naoroji on Train of Wealth, but he agreed that the solution to come out of poverty is industrialization. Right. Yeah, we have host of thinkers on our side. On the other side, we have administrator scholars. You can even start from Macaulay and J.S. Mill. Not only those, even as late as Curzon, they were also making the similar arguments. Yep. Yes. It is necessary, inevitable. It is necessary and inevitable. Yes. So, ये एक debate का पहला context है. That British people considered it as universal phenomenon of any country undergoing industrialization. Indians opposed भाई ये inevitable नहीं है. You are purposefully doing it through some policy measures. So the essence is that the British administrative scholars were arguing that deindustrialization is a part and parcel of the entire journey towards industrialization. Every economy which undergoes industrialization faces this problem, and since India was getting industrialized, India would also face these same problems. It would cause pain, but it would bring tangible benefits later down the line. Right? So that is the first half of the answer. The second half में फिर हमें शायद जाना पड़ेगा कि what is our analysis today. दादाभाई नौरोजी ने जो कहना था कह दिए, रानडे ने जो कहना था उनके ओपिनियन, आरसी दत्त वगैरह ओपिनियंस है, but where do we stand today? So यहाँ पे we have to go to later historians like Sumit Sarkar. The statement is actually the quote from the book of Sumit Sarkar of 1983, Modern India. उस किताब का वो सेक्शन है डीइंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन, उसका फर्स्ट लाइन ही ये कोट है, ये उससे सवाल बना दिया है. तो यहाँ पे हमारा स्टांस शायद थोड़ा रैशनल होना चाहिए. What we would say is that it may have been inevitable, but वो suffering of the traditional artisans and peasants and craftsmen, इनकी पूरी जिंदगी तबाह हो गई. इंडिया का वर्ल्ड फेमस textile industry, for example, got destroyed. Dhaka muslin, जो अभी तक it almost holds a mythological place in the textile industry. Yep. So, what was the outcome of that? So, in other countries which were independent, these people could industrialize after a generation or two. So, उनका suffering was compensated by industrialization, by growth in the life pattern, earning system, and overall. तो वहाँ पे हुआ अर्बनाइजेशन, वहाँ पे नई इंडस्ट्री लगी, एंड देयरफॉर डाउन द लेन इन अ जनरेशन और टू इट वाज कॉम्पेंसेटेड, काउंटर बैलेंस्ड. इट डिड नॉट हैपन इन इंडिया. दुख उस चीज का, इनएविटेबल तो था, बट टू व्हाट एंड, उसका नतीजा क्या निकला? सफरिंग हुआ, द सैडनेस दैट इट कॉज्ड, वुड इट हैव बीन द सेम हैड द ब्रिटिश नॉट रूल्ड इंडिया?
सो वहां पे आकर के हमको
रुकना पड़ता है।
हाँ
तो वहां पे दो चीजें होती है, एक तो सफरिंग कुड हैव बीन अलिविएटेड, had India been independent, so maybe the state would have been welfare state. So at least some managed transition towards industrialization would have brought less suffering to our people. That is one. And in the end, there would have been real transition. The real masla ye hai ki in British colonial era, there was no real transition. India did not actually industrialize to vast scale as it should have.
So traditional handicraft artisanal industries were destroyed, but they were not replaced by anything. So creative destruction के process में destruction तो हो गया,
yes,
but creation did not take.
Creation हुआ, but वहाँ पे
हाँ ब्रिटेन में हुआ. Yep.
So this is how the understanding is.
In fact, we can also argue that the British offshored the suffering that their populace would have suffered to India.
Correct.
That they were not forced to deindustrialize to the extent that would have been required had Britain been industrializing in a scenario where it was not a colonial power.
So in your terms, it's like externalizing or outsourcing of your suffering to other people. Correct.
In fact,
that's a very good way of summarizing it.
Yes. So in fact, हम लोग इसको, अच्छा सर मेरा एक और query था that when we are trying to give a rational analysis, should we perform a comparative study between the Western industrial powers and what was happening in India during the time of industrial colonization, or should we talk about India as a standalone case study?
I think यहाँ पे refer करना would be a good idea.
Compare करना ज़्यादा.
Not entire answer में, but at least in one or two lines somewhere introduction में, body में, conclusion में कहीं ना कहीं, if you refer to Japan, to America, to England itself, it would be a very good thing.
Right. हाँ, इनफैक्ट सही बोल रहे हैं क्योंकि विदाउट दैट प्रॉपर इम्पैक्ट शायद ना आ पाए आंसर में. राइट. ऑलराइट.
So I would ask you other question now.
हाँ सर.
If you want to summarize it in a nutshell about how to write the answer, इसको structure करना हो तो कैसे करें?
तो देखिए, एज यू हैव ऑलरेडी पॉइंटेड आउट सर कि मेन बॉडी में इसमें दो मेन पार्ट्स रहेंगे. द फर्स्ट विल बी रिगार्डिंग द हिस्टोरियोग्राफी, द सेकंड वुड बी रिगार्डिंग द रैशनल एनालिसिस ऑफ द सिनेरियो फ्रॉम द करंट पर्सपेक्टिव. इंट्रोड्यूस हम कैसे कर सकते हैं सर? तो देयर आर सेवरल ऑप्शंस. One adequate way of doing it would be to contextualize it, that this period in Indian history, the destruction of traditional artisanal handicrafts took place roughly from the beginning of the 19th century onwards. In fact, when R.C. Dutt for the first time divided colonial history into three phases, the phase beginning from 1813, he called it the phase of industrial capitalism. So we can begin from there, that since 1813, industrial colonization phase started, which coincided with the process of deindustrialization of India. This refers to the destruction of traditional Indian handicrafts so that the Indian market could be saturated with British manufactured goods. There have been several debates with regards to this process and its impacts, one aspect of which has been raised by administrative colonial historians as well as Indian nationalist political scholars before independence. And then we can talk about the historiography. We can name a few scholars from either side, the important arguments that they make, the British side as well as the Indian side. We can talk about them, and then we can come to the second part of the body, that is the rational analysis from the current perspective. Over here, we are going to have an opportunity to compare the actual process of industrialization under British rule in India with the process of industrialization in the Western scenario. Right over here, we may take the case of, let's say, Britain or Japan or France or even the United States. Right. Once we have done that, we'll come at a convenient point where we have established that the process of deindustrialization in India was very different from that in the other industrialized countries. And that would give us a good opportunity to conclude our answer. That based on such a scenario, it appears that colonialism derailed the process of industrialization in India. While it caused deindustrialization, it was not able to replace it with native industrial growth. While some native industrial growth took place, it was also hurdled by constant interference from the British because they were using the Indian economy to subsidize their own economic growth. And proof is in the pudding. Before the beginning of British rule in India, India's share of global trade stood at 27%. After the British left India, it was nearly at 2%. And the scenario is completely the opposite for the British. They controlled 2% of the global trade in 1707, and they controlled as much as a quarter of the global trade in 1947. So that is the note on which we can conclude.
So this the promise of civilization was very hollow. And उसमें सर एक बस छोटा मुद्दा शायद इसका जुड़ा हुआ है. It might not fit in our scheme of things here, but I think it is important that British always said that आप पिछड़े हुए थे. Colonization was a necessary precondition for you to modernize.
For your modernization.
हम आपके लिए उसके लिए आए हैं. But the very famous counter example to this is Japan. Japan could modernize, Japan could industrialize only because primarily it was not colonized. उसको फ्रीडम था, हमसे वो फ्रीडम छीना गया. So we suffered and suffered and suffered for no end. तो थोड़ा सा इमोशनल भी इसको एंड कर सकते हैं.
बिल्कुल सर. इनफैक्ट एंड करने के लिए कई सारे ऑप्शंस हैं. वी वर सिंपली पॉइंटिंग आउट वन ऑफ देम. हम यहाँ पे कोई मॉडल आंसर तो बनाने की एक्सरसाइज नहीं कर रहे हैं, बट वी आर जस्ट एक्सप्लोरिंग वेज इन व्हिच दिस आंसर कुड हैव बीन अप्रोच्ड.
We have started this series on Sunday evening every week.
Yes, sir.
Since last week, where we discuss, I would like to announce that every Sunday evening on Zoom, Vishal sir and me would come live and discuss 2 questions every day. One from what is
one from paper 1,
one from paper 2. On our Telegram channel, you will get the link for registration. It is a free exercise. You have to register, you get a link, and you will also get a model answer afterwards. Okay? So do join us. Thank you.
All right. Then there we are. I hope you like this particular session of Behind the Question, and please continue following us for more. Thank you.